Hi, digital art. This is Miss Olson. I want to show you a couple of things for this video. I want to show you how to adjust your preferences so Inkscape matches what you see here, um, and better matches what you see in the lessons so that you can follow along a little bit more easily. The second thing that I want to show you is how to adjust your canvas, which is the white area of the screen, versus the darker gray section. And so we'll do that during the second half. Let's start with adjusting the look of our Inkscape interface. That's all the buttons and the menus and everything. So to do that, I'm going to click a File, or actually, nope, Edit, Preferences. So the Edit menu, Preferences, it's all the way at the bottom. When my Preferences opens up, the area that I want to focus on over here on the sidebar options is the interface. And we're going to look for theming. So interface theming. There's a lot of things to see here. There's a lot of buttons to push. Ignore most of them. Don't touch them. Instead, it's kind of better to switch just the main theme. And I recommend changing the theme under the Change GTK theme option to the one that says Adwaita, Adwaita. Um, what that does is it kind of sets up the size of the menu and the all of the other items to match what you see in the lessons. If you like a different one, you can set it to a different one. So here's my Windows 32 option. This is what high contrast looks like. But the Adwaita is the one that matches our lessons. So I'm going to switch it there. Sometimes when you're switching your preferences, the area will kind of like fade out. Just re-click back on it and then it'll reactivate. Um, the second thing that we'll want to change is our icons. That's halfway down the page. Again, we want to switch these to Adwaita, Adwaita. All the other ones look quite a bit different from what we see in our lessons. Um, so Adwaita is going to be the closest. So Adwaita for both the theme and the icons. Then go over to the toolbars option underneath theming. And this one's important because here, I'll reset it so it's only set to 100. When you open up the new version of Inkscape, your buttons are teeny tiny, little itty babies. So if you're old like me, or if you just want to see things better, go to the toolbox icon size. Those are the tools over here on the sidebar. Drag that one up 150, or I prefer like 175. Works really well. And then some of those tools will go out of view. You can just go over there and scroll, and then you'll see all of them. Um, the control bar icon size are the tools up at the top. So if I grab that, and for this one, I recommend like 131 or 137, your choice. That lets you to see everything without things getting too cramped. So those are the two settings I recommend. Once you have that, your Inkscape is ready to go. Second part. Some of you are having issues with your canvas. Again, that's the white section here that you can see. I'm going to go ahead and close this. The white section of our Inkscape page is our canvas. This is the area that's where your drawing goes. You can draw over here on the side. However, when you draw over on the side, that does not show up except if Inkscape is opened. So if you are drawing something and I say, oh, this is missing, and you're like, no, I have it, Miss Olson, go check to see if it's on the side and then let me know to open it in Inkscape, because when I open it for grading, it will automatically open in an internet page and I will only see the items drawn on the white part of the canvas. Now, some of you have issues because you don't know what part is the white part. So let's go over how to adjust our canvas settings so that it's very obvious, like my setup here. You'll go to File and Document Properties. The File menu, Document Properties. When I open up the document properties, this is also where we're going to change the orientation for our still life. But there's other options that you can work with. So let me kind of set this aside so we can watch. Okay, For me, I have it set to page, and then I have it set with a border, always on top, show shadow, and anti-aliasing. I kind of recommend leaving that on. All right. So if I remove any of these, let's just remove shadow. You'll see at the bottom here, I removed the shadow. And if I turn it back on, that shadow pops up. It just kind of makes it feel more like it's three-dimensional. I can set it so that it's not always on top. I'm not quite sure what that does. Oh, I remember the border. Okay. So some if it has a border over here on the side, the border will not necessarily be on top, but you do need the border to be visible for that to happen. Okay, what happens if I set this to page border and drop shadow color? I can pick the color of my page or my border. No, I can pick the color of my border. So you can see here that the shadow turns blue. That's fun. Okay, and that's how I discover a lot of things. I just play with it. If I click the desk option, I can change the color of the desk. That's the gray part in the background. So if you don't like the gray, maybe you like love lavender. You can set that page color to lavender. If you don't like working on bright white, you can click on the page button and shift that color to a different color. So sometimes I like working on gray. Just know that if you want it to go back, that's what you'll have to do. You'll have to go back, click on page. Okay, I have to set this to white. That's the standard. The border is going to be black, and the desk is going to be that sort of gray. Okay. All right. If you don't have border selected and instead you have checkerboard, you might have this checkerboard grid on. Some people like this. If you want it on, have that check selected. If you don't, turn it off. So those are the kind of the main items that you'll kind of want to play with. Um, I recommend setting page to white or at least a light gray. I recommend setting your desk to a darker color than your page is, and make sure to leave the shadow and the border on so that you know where the edges of your paper are. Okay. All right. So with that, I'm going to end. You should have a better idea about how to set up your Inkscape space now.